All right, today we're gabbing with Robyn Dixon, who is an alum of the Real Housewives of Potomac. She's also now, sadly, an alum of the Traitors season three. She just got murdered by these traitors this season who are not making me very happy. So, Robyn, I appreciate you being here. As I said, I'm happy to see you, but also sad to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's so funny. Of course, I knew my fate going into the episode, but I was like actually extra disappointed after watching it because I'm like, okay, you all just like picked me to kill me. Like you had no reason. You gave me no reason for why you killed me, why you murdered me. I was just like, come on now, I needed more than that.
What's
So
it like watching the turret moment back? Because as a viewer, you're like, okay, Boston Rob just pulled off this big move, and Carolyn and Danielle are trying to, put up a fight, but like they just let him steamroll.
yeah, yeah. It was underwhelming to me to see their discussion in the turret. But I can also understand like they're like just at this point scared. Like they don't know what to do. Like, okay,
Right.
now he's shown what he's capable of. We can't trust him. And so they're probably sitting there, okay, well, we're just gonna appease him because it was clear to me that he banished Bob the drag queen because drag queen was controlling the conversations in the turret.
Hmm.
And Boston Rob needed to get Drag Queen out of there because he wanted to control the conversations. And so I understand the ladies being kind of just laying down. They were probably pretty defeated, pretty shocked. Those emotions, I can only imagine being in their
Right.
position. I did last night message Carolyn and say, okay, so why did you all murder me? Because I don't even see, like, you didn't even say, y'all
Did she
never
did
said,
she reply?
she said, I didn't want to murder you. Like, she was just like,
Which we
she,
saw.
yeah. But I did say to Danielle, after the round table, should have been a red flag. She's all like scurrying around the house, like frantic, like trying to, kind of figure out what people are thinking. And I did say, I think Rob is a traitor. And
Uh so maybe
so
maybe in her mind she's like that's where she kind of gave in because you're onto them a little bit.
that too. And I'm like, and so for me, I was wondering if when they got to the turret, if she told him that, if she said, Robyn thinks you're a traitor. But we never saw that happen. So I
Right.
don't know if that's what happened. But I was so ready to come in the next day and banish Boston Rob. I was convinced because Drag Queen's response to him was so visceral. He was so angry. He was so shocked. And so that for me, I was like, oh, okay.
Uh,
I see what just happened.
mhm.
I was going to come in, but
Yeah. And then we see Bob Harper at the next roundtable. Like he makes this kind of a similar point, which is like, if you had been there, you could have backed him up, you know?
yeah.
It's
Oh yeah. I promise you, I know I would have gotten Boston Rob out because I also would have gotten everyone off of the whole Nikki and Sierra in a casket thing because it was clear to me. I was like, wait a minute. A traitor wouldn't put themselves in the casket. They wouldn't bring that attention on themselves. So I would have shifted the
okay.
attention off them.
When did
And
because you voted for Sierra at some point, right? When
I
did when did
did.
you get off of that train?
It was after that roundtable, like after drag queen was banished, after drag queen, I really like kind of like stepped back and I was like, mm-mm. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, a traitor would never, ever, if I'm like, I don't care. Like they're not putting themselves in that casket.
Yeah, I
That
get
doesn't
that.
make. And so I was really surprised when I watched the roundtable last night, like that everyone, just about everyone, voted for somebody that was in the casket. And no one said, wait a minute, guys,
We gotta get
this
over
doesn't
that.
make sense,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
They're hung
So,
up on that, and it's like, let's move on.
yes. So I was like, oh, if I was there, I know I would have been able to like shift the thinking and really say, y'all, you guys got to really think about action to Boston Rob. It was intense and
Yeah,
extreme. It wasn't like when Dylan accused Drag Queen of being a traitor
totally
or I think
different.
accused. It was so different. And
Hmm.
so,
So
oh,
so obviously, as a as a Bravo fan, and I keep using Dolores's line of calling it Housewives Hunters, where
Yeah.
it's like one, I just don't think it's a very good strategy to focus only on the housewives. I mean, three out of four are gone 5 episodes in, which is just wild. What do
Yes.
you make of the strategy of focusing on the housewives? I mean, and it's not just banishment. It's there. Three of you guys were murdered by the traitors. What do
Yeah.
you think was behind that?
I understood the initial strategy, like, oh, okay, let's murder one and try to frame another. I understood that. And I think just considering how things played out with, Dorinda being upset, they were able to either frame Iva or frame a housewife. I got that. But once we got through that, like, come on, let's do something else. Let's shift. Let's create confusion in another way. I didn't think it was smart. I actually thought it was very weak gameplay. I
Very
didn't think,
one note.
yeah, they didn't really strategize enough there. Um, I think they should have just gone and done something totally opposite and murdered, Iva or Sam and just like, oh, okay, that's weird.
Right.
But it just felt like, okay, like you guys are really not critically thinking here.
Yeah.
And for me, as a Bravo celebrity, it was disappointing because I'm like, I'm thinking about you guys. I'm thinking about the Bravo community, and I'm like, there's like, you guys gotta keep us around, like, just for the
For good
excitement.
TV. Well,
Yes.
that's Chanel Ayan's theory, which is that like they were kind of threatened with airtime because we saw season two at least like the Housewives got a lot of airtime, kind of led by Phaedra, but it was kind of a group effort, and like maybe there's a little bit of that in there.
Maybe I don't know. Everybody's different. Like there are no Phaedras here.
Yeah,
Phaedra's
yeah,
Phaedra, Ayan is Ayan. Like we all are gonna make our forge our own path. But I'm just thinking, and I actually quickly realized, like once I got to the castle and started filming, like I'm here to make TV. I'm here to make good TV. I'm actually not
thank
here to
you.
win the game, you know? So my thought process is like, I'm like, I know I'm going to get murdered. Like my destiny is not, my fate is not in my own hands. So while I'm here, let me just make good TV. And so they get rid of Dorinda, they get rid of Ayan, and then even seeing Drag Queen get banished, I'm like, oh my God, like, come on, guys. Like, we gotta make sure we're still making good TV, which I'm sure it's still good TV.
Which listen, Robin, you were successful in that. I think that you had such a good showing on this show. Like you were so fun
Yeah.
to watch, and that's something I'm curious about is because obviously in on Potomac, it's like you have 9 years of buildup or 8 years of buildup of like just people knowing everything about your life, and you're with the same people every single year essentially. I'm
Yeah.
curious if you felt freed up being in a new group of people, kind of being exposed to a new audience. Does that
Yeah.
unlock something for you? Does it take some of the weight off?
Oh my God, it was so refreshing. It
Yeah,
was I'm like, I'll film a show like this every week. But
I'm
you
sure.
put me with a different group of people and fresh, scenarios and not concentrating on, whose mama slept with who. And like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it was so refreshing and I could still be myself.
Of
And
course.
it wasn't like I'm not being judged or picked apart and it was amazing. I loved it. I was like, okay, I could
Yeah,
do this
that's
all the time.
amazing. That's amazing. And I think people are saying how this season's a little bit chaotic. It's like kind of the traders are being a little chaotic. It's kind of like the strategy's kind of all up in the air. But I kind
Yeah.
of like that about this season, and I like how every season is very different. Like it shows perspective people who want to be on the show. Like there isn't a formula here. Like it is kind of just totally like kind of you have to go by the seat of your pants.
Yep.
So last season we saw a Bravo alliance where there was a lot of Bravo people who stuck together, and this season we didn't see that. Why,
Yeah.
from your perspective, did that not kind of ever come together?
So we definitely you kind of don't see us interact as much, but we actually did a lot.
Okay,
Like we were together a lot. We spoke with each other a lot. We definitely had each other's backs for sure. But I think we were very careful to try not to make it obvious.
Right.
Like we
Yeah.
didn't want to make it like we didn't want it to be glaring, because we really wanted to like just play the game fairly. Um, so I will say like the Bravo people, we had each other's backs. Even though I voted for Sierra, like
Hey,
I was
maybe that's just like a red herring. You know what I mean? Like we're not together.
Yeah, right. It was like it was just like I was just at that point, I was like mentally just like tapped out and I'm like, I can't think today. Like
Hmm.
I'm gonna take a break from thinking because, I kind of did a lot the previous few days, couple days, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a break from thinking and this is what I'm going with. But but I will say the Bravo people, Sandoval included, we definitely like kind of, looked out for one another for sure.
Okay.
But we didn't want to make it
Yeah, I
obvious.
think that's very smart because it made them targets last year.
Yeah.
So you were in the castle, now you're out of the castle. Who who would you be your pick to win? I don't know how much you know, but who would be your pick from this point, looking at who's left?
Yeah. So I think early on, it's just it's so funny. I see the comparisons of Dylan to
Pilot
Pilot Pete.
Pete. Hmm.
I mean, it's like
Night.
uncanny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Totally.
so it's like if I was a betting woman, I would say I think Dylan will go pretty far. Um, and then I think you have people who are like the sleepers, like Sam,
Hmm.
who I
Hasn't said
swear,
one word.
yeah, I think he said like, except that he's wearing Britney's headband. That was so funny. Um, like somebody like a Sam could like slip through. I don't see the traders making it. Like the
Okay.
current traders, they're falling apart. They
Maybe they'll.
are.
Okay. Okay. If you were a trader, who would you recruit right now?
Oh, if I was a trader, I would probably recruit Sam.
Yeah. It'd be like so random and so
Yeah.
unexpected.
I would either recruit Sam or Iva. I
Okay.
don't know about Iva. I feel like Iva like really wouldn't want to do that role. So I would pick Sam.
Okay. Okay. I like those answers. So last question for you, Robin. Obviously, I mean, I really love seeing you on the show. I liked this new environment for you. And
Yeah, thank
obviously,
you.
it's your first season not on Potomac after helping to start the show. And I'm wondering from your perspective, like, because sometimes I think about it and I'm like, maybe somebody taking a season or two off, quote unquote, from a show is healthy and it gives them distance and perspective. Are you feeling that at all when it comes to your relationship with Real Housewives of Potomac? Like, oh, maybe in the future I could return and have just sort of a refreshed mindset.
Yeah. I mean, so first of all, I was very at peace with the
Yeah.
decision for them not to bring me back. Um, and but more than anything, I really enjoyed not being on the show this season. It had just gotten too dark and toxic,
Yeah.
and having a cleanse or a detox from it all was like amazing for me. It was so good. It was like I didn't know I needed it.
Right.
Uh, so it's great. And so now it's like I do feel like total clean slate, total
It's
detox,
amazing.
where I'm like, I can do anything, at this point. So,
Yeah, it's amazing. You got perspective. And I think that more people should probably get that. And like you said, you didn't
yeah.
realize it, and that's incredible, I think.
Yeah, it's great because like the show definitely consumes your life. Like
Yeah.
no matter how much you try not to let it consume your life, because I'm
Impossible.
not super active on social media. I don't go looking for stuff that people are saying. I never really was like, okay, I need to like control the narrative or like I never did that, but there was still like it just consumed
I believe
everything
it.
in every aspect, like even whether it's me being at home with my children, with my family, and I'm not giving them the attention that they need or that I should be giving them because my brain has like, stuff about the show just
Right.
constantly thinking about
Yeah.
it. And so it was a great detox. I
That's
would
amazing to hear. That's amazing to hear. Well, Robin, I'm really happy for you. Again, I wish we had more time with you on the show, but you know what? You got through half the episode, so
Yeah,
that's pretty
I
good.
mean, look, my goal is like, okay, I just don't want to be murdered or banished first, and then I'm good. But then I was like, okay, I'm like, I want to like, get out
Yeah.
some
You get
traitors,
into
but
it, right? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But well, Robyn, I really appreciate you taking the time. Congratulations on the fun run on this show, and hopefully we talk again soon.
Thank you. I appreciate everyone's support.
I want to gab.